So here's the situation. You're in charge of putting together a PowerPoint presentation that shows all of the contestant submissions for a photo contest. You've got dozens, maybe hundreds of photo submissions. What your boss would like is to have the company logo placed in the lower right-hand corner of each slide. Now, what most people would do is they would go to the first slide and do something like insert, picture, from device, go find their logo, drop it in, position it, and resize it. But I have to do that for dozens, if not hundreds of slides. Now, I'm not going to do this on every single slide, so what most people resign themselves to do is to take the first inserted image, copy it, Control-C, and then go to each slide thereafter and paste. Go to the next slide, paste. Go to the next slide, paste. Go to the next slide, paste. And do this maybe dozens or hundreds of times. Now, if you're willing to put up with that, that's one thing, but there's another requirement. On the opening slide, we want a different logo. So we'll do an insert, picture, from device, and maybe we'll go with this one. Resize it and position it. None of that is particularly difficult, but it's very tedious. And then what happens if your boss comes in and says, you know what? I think I'd rather have the logo in the upper left corner. So now you've got to grab this logo, move it up here, and then do the same thing for each slide, taking that logo and moving it to the upper left corner, and hoping that you're getting it in the exact same position each time, which you're likely not going to, being a human being and all. And so when you run the show, the logo ends up sort of jumping around in the slide. So how can we add the logo once, have it appear automatically on every slide in the exact same position, the exact same size, have it be different for different types of slides, and make it easily updatable? So if we decide to resize, move, or even change the logo, we only do it once. This is where slide masters come into play. Slide masters are one of the most underutilized, misunderstood, and vexing features of PowerPoint. The reason for all of this is just because people don't understand how they work. But once you understand how slide masters operate, they have the potential of saving you more time than almost any feature in PowerPoint. Here's what you need to understand about slides. If this was a typical PowerPoint slide, and we were to look at it as sort of a diagonal perspective, there are actually layers to each slide. And if we were to split this slide into those layers, the slide itself acts like a pane of glass. Things can be behind the glass, and things can be in front of the glass. Anything that is specific to the slide needs to go in front of the glass, but anything that is common to all slides goes behind the glass. Placing something behind the glass means you only have to place it once, and it appears behind every prospective slide. Also, by placing something behind the glass, it acts as a way of protecting content. So unless somebody understands how to work with slide masters, they can't alter, delete, or add anything to the background. So let's see how this works in practice. Before we can understand slide masters, we need to understand layouts. When you insert a new slide, you choose from one of these pre-configured layouts. A layout being a pre-assembled combination of placeholders, and those placeholders could be titles, content, chart, photograph, video, subtitle, etc. So you can insert a slide with a predefined layout, or you can even take an existing slide that has a layout and change it to a different layout. Let's go up to View and switch to the Slide Sorter view. You can download this file from a link in the video description, and what it will do is it will give you the ability to play with each type of layout. Experiment with them, see what they do, what they have to offer. Every one of these sections is a different combination of layouts. So I've got a single slide with a title slide layout, and after that, each section is a different layout. We have the title and content layouts, the to content layout, comparison layouts, title only, blank slides, content with captions, pictures with captions, and each one of these sections begins with a section placeholder. So the idea is we want to place the company logo in the lower right corner of each slide. On the View ribbon, we need to go to Slide Master. This looks similar to PowerPoint's main construction window, but what you're seeing over here on the left are thumbnails of each of the stock layouts. So we have the title slide layout, the title and content layout, the section header layout, the to content layout, the comparison layout, etc. If we were to go to the section layout and put something on this layout, it will appear on every slide that uses this layout. So we'll go up to Insert, Pictures, this device. We'll go find the picture we want to add, and now we can take this and position it. If you look very closely in the thumbnail, let me enlarge this, you can actually see the inserted picture in the thumbnail. I'll go back up to the Slide Master ribbon, close the master view, and notice how the corporate logo is on the first slide of every one of these sections. If my boss decided that he wanted it in the upper right and maybe even be a different logo, we could go to one of these section slides, go up to View, Slide Master. I'll take the picture, move it to the upper left corner, and I'll even right-click and say Change Picture and change it to something different. I'll stretch it out just to make sure we can see it. Close the master view, and now you see every section layout slide has the new picture in the new position. Now suppose I wanted that logo on every single slide in the entire slide deck. Well, the first slide in each section is one layout type, but then these 3 slides are a different layout type. And these 3 slides are a different layout type, and these 3 are a different layout type. All of these are different layout types. We're almost back to the original problem of having to place it on every single layout. If we go up to View, Slide Master, we don't want to have to visit every single one of these layout types adding that same picture in the same position. Well, in these thumbnails, if you scroll all the way to the top, you'll see one thumbnail that is larger than the rest. This is the master of masters. Think of it this way. Anything you put on this slide will be inherited by all of the child slide layouts. So instead of going here to this specific layout and adding this logo, I'm going to cut it. I'll go to the master of masters, paste it, and I'm going to put it down here in the corner. Now you see in the thumbnails how it's appearing on every child layout. I'll close the master view. Every single slide now has the logo in the lower right corner. If it turns out that that logo is not the one we want, we go back to View, Slide Master, scroll up to the Master of Masters, go to this logo, right-click, Change Picture, and I'll change it back to this one. Move it down in the corner, close the master view. Every slide has been updated. Something to keep in mind when you're working with Slide Masters, if we go up to View, Slide Master, and here I am on the title only layout. If I wanted to move this logo, notice I cannot select it because it's not actually on this slide. It's being inherited from the Master of Masters. So if this needs to be altered, you have to go back here, select it from this slide, and then make your change. I'm going to hit Undo, Control-Z. I'll close the master view, but here's what we'd like to be different. We'd like the normal logo, say, in the upper right corner, so we're going to move it. But I don't want it to be in the upper right corner of any of my section headers. I want a different logo that's larger and in a different position. Plus, the title slide, I want a completely different logo that's really large in the middle and is almost like a watermark. So how can we do this with the minimal amount of effort? Let's go back up to View, Slide Master. Going up to the Master of Masters, remember anything being placed on this slide will be inherited to all child slides. But the title slide layout, I don't want that logo in the corner. I want a different logo in the middle, very large and washed out. So with this title slide layout selected, on the Slide Master ribbon, I'm going to check the box that says Hide Background Graphic. This basically exempts it from inheriting anything from the Master of Masters. So now on this slide, I can say Insert, Picture, from Device. I'll pick this one, I'm going to resize it, and I'll even go up here and make it look like a watermark. Now having done just the title slide, let's see what happened. We'll go back to Slide Master, close the master view. Everything looks the same so far, but notice the title slide is different. Now it's time to take the section heading slides and make them different from the rest of the slide deck. We'll go back up to View, Slide Master. Now if you don't know which one of these is the appropriate slide to be modifying, here's a trick. I'll go back into regular PowerPoint. If you select a slide that you want to modify, and while sitting on that slide, go up to View, Slide Master, that will not only take you into the Slide Master section, but it will place you on the thumbnail of the slide you were on when you came in here. So if I hover over this, I can see this is the section header. So for the section header, I'm also going to hide the background graphic, again exempting it from the inheritance of the Master of Masters. And now I'll insert a picture, and then resize it and move it. I'll go back up to Slide Master, close the master view, and now we see how all the section heading slides are the same as all the other section header slides, yet different from the rest of the slide deck. In some of these slides, the logo is crashing into the images, so we decide that we should move it to the upper right corner. We'll go to View, Slide Master, go back up to the Master of Masters, because that's where that logo actually exists, and I'll move it up here, and maybe even make it a little bit bigger. Close the master view. All of those slides have been updated. You can even use Slide Masters to change fonts, font style, font color, alignment. So if I wanted all of my section heading slides to have a different font, I'll pick one of the section heading slides, go up to View, Slide Master. Here I am on the section heading layout. And here's the placeholder text for headings. Let's go up to Home and change this font. And we'll make it something absolutely obnoxious so that we can tell something's actually happening. So we'll go with French script. I'll even make it underlined and change the font color. We'll go to Slide Master, close the master view, and every one of those section heading slides, their title's font has been changed both in style and color. Same thing if you were working, say, with the titles of one of these, like, say, the content with caption layout. I'll click on one of the content with caption slides, go to View, Slide Master. Here's the placeholder text. I'll go to Home, change the font to Show Card Gothic, and I'll set it to blue, and maybe even italicize it. Slide Master, close master view, and now we can see these 3 slides, their headings have all been changed in their font and style. Now, once you make a change to a specific layout, it becomes exempt from any inherited changes. So looking at some of these other slides, a lot of these have titles, and maybe I want them to be bold, underlined, and green, but I want all of them to have this change. So sitting on any slide, we'll go up to View, Slide Master, scroll up to the Master of Masters, and then alter the style here in the Master of Masters title. So we'll go Home, bold, underline, and green. Go to Slide Master, close the master view. Any slide that's got a title is inheriting the style from the Master of Masters, except for these slides here because they were altered at a specific master layout level. So the next time you want to make changes to a whole set of slides at once, see if you can go up here, go into your Slide Masters, make your change, click Close, and see if you can save yourself a whole lot of work. Remember to download this file from the link in the video description so you can go in and practice this and take advantage of this Slide Master feature. Once you start using it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Leave a note down in the video comments. Let me know what you think about this. Thank you for watching. Remember, at BCTI, the learning never stops.